To be honest, I grew up watching American TV, and I had high expectations of what my university life was going to look like, and I was very disappointed. So I thought, I'm in the position now in my family situation and my financial career that I could afford to go to the best university in the world in America, and that's what I did. Sure did, and it was awesome. Like the way they structure it is you actually all live in a dorm room, so every level has 6 beds, you have your own shower, but you're structured where you eat together, you study together. So the people, it really makes or breaks your experience on who you actually are in the room with. I was lucky enough that I had 2 other Aussies, 2 Americans, Portuguese and a Brazilian, and our team was awesome. Funnily enough, like everyone scopes everyone out and looks at everyone's LinkedIn profile, and on day 2, one of the guys there from Sydney goes, "Is your business partner Silvio Marinelli?" I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "I went to primary school and high school together." So we reached out, and Silver remembered him. It was just such a weird place. You know, we're on 20 hours away by a flight on the other side of the world, and I get put in a dorm room that is friends with my business partner from primary school. So many. Probably the one that stood out the most was their presentations, which was more than one about the importance of AI and where AI is currently and where it's going to be and how it's going to affect professional service industries such as myself. Style of training that the way it was run was probably one of the things that I was most impressed with. It wasn't a way where they just got up there and they just told you what it was. It was structured in a way where you had to understand the course material, otherwise you would have got picked on. But it was a way where they would say, "Darren, what did you think about that? How did you come to the conclusion? Why did you come to that conclusion? Do you think that was a good conclusion?" And then they would go to someone across the room, and it was just an open discussion with some of the best and smartest people around the world. And they always did wrap it around that it was really, even though it was very free will conversation, they did have a sort of structure on how they would come back to the conclusion. And most of the time, the case study that we're talking about, you found out at the end, the person who actually we're talking about was the actual lecturer 20 odd years ago. So there was probably my favourite, not my favourite class, but probably the one that, you know, was most unexpected that I'd get this type of result out of it, was a class where the way they ran, you do 90 minutes there, let's say 150 and 90 minutes there. So if we do A, they'll do B, and then if we do the B, they'll do the A. So we walked out of one of our lecture halls to go into another one, and you could see the whole 150 people coming out, and they all looked like they were crying, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" And they said, "Oh, that's pretty full on, good luck." And I went, "I'm not going to cry." And I reckon within the first 5 minutes of that class, I'm like, "Don't you dare ask me a question, because I'm going to burst out crying." But it was more about how easy it is to recognise people and to appreciate people, and to let those people know why you appreciate them. And by you giving them positive feedback, it actually makes yourself feel a lot better. So they made us write down anyone that you really want to say thank you for what you've done in my life. And I obviously picked my mum, and I picked my 2 children. Now, because of the time zones, I tried to call them. They made us write it all down, which we didn't know, and then at the end of it, you had to call them and read it out. Now, Mason picked up, my son, and I got to read out exactly what I said to him, and it was very, very, very special. And I took him a photo and I sent it to him, and he's printed it out. But it was very nerve-wracking to do, but once you did it, you just felt instantaneously uplifted. So I think taking it out, giving people positive gratitude and always patting them on the back, and when they've done something to you, instead of, you know, going and expressing your gratitude towards them. "100% it was the AI. Because I've never really looked into it, after the first class, which we had 3 of them, straight away my brain started racing, and I started thinking about who's it going to affect, you know, how can I introduce it in, what do I need to do. I've always had the mindset, it's not broken, don't fix it, you know, so, which again I know is the wrong thing. We've got to continually improve ourselves, and COVID taught us that well when we lost the ability to have our office. But I haven't been that excited for a change like this in a long time. I've spent hours upon hours thinking about it and working out how it's going to do it, and I can see so many positives that are going to come out of this. Probably my highlight wasn't exploring Boston after Harvard. It was definitely sending my son over, my 13-year-old boy, his first overseas trip on a plane by himself, and he flew from Melbourne to JFK. So I got to spend 5 nights with him in New York, and it was probably, well, it's experiences, they're once-in-a-lifetime experiences. So to be able to do that with my son, my little buddy, it was amazing. The one thing everyone told me to do in Boston, which was to go to the baseball, and you know, my expectations were Harvard were here and they exceeded it. My expectations were very low for the baseball and they were underneath it. I lasted about 45 minutes and I'm like, why does everyone like this game? The guy next to me was explaining me the rules and he drove 8 hours and he's like, you're so lucky to go to this venue and to watch this game. And I said, I'm just going to go get a drink, mate. And I left. So would I go back to Boston if it wasn't going back to Harvard? No. Was it a beautiful town? Absolutely beautiful. It reminded me a lot like Victoria and Melbourne. It was very nice and clean and well built, good infrastructure, lovely people. But I can just go to Melbourne. I don't need to fly 22 hours to go to Boston. My expectations at Harvard were pretty high. I expected a hell of a lot, and to tell you the truth, it well and truly exceeded my expectations.